Hey gamers, it's Kwing here. Welcome to another Game Nights video review. This is of course Little King's story for the Nintendo Wii. A big game fit for the little king and all of us. The game's story begins with a little boy playing with a small box of sorts when a bunch of rats appear and scare the child. The boy chases them off into the woods where he stumbles upon a magic crown, and once he puts it on, the child discovers that he can control the minds of others. Pretty cool. A knight called Hauser claims the little boy to be the true king of Alpoco. He then tells the young king that it's his job to conquer, unify the world. The game is divided into 4 categories. You have, of course, exploring the world, conquering kingdoms by attacking them, completing many quests to expand your kingdom, and lastly, cultivating your land so that it will grow and your people will be happy. The main concept for this game is conquering the neighboring states to unite the world. First players start off with small huts and lazy townspeople. It's the king's job to put them to work. At the beginning, you can only train a few farmers and some workers, but as the game progresses, you unlock more classes. Each class has a significant use as well, which you'll need these new resources in order to progress through the world, as parts of it are locked. Only by exploring it can you get more resources, increase your kingdom, and make new jobs available for the king. Otherwise, the king is limited to where you go and what you can do, so this requires you to do a lot of quests whenever you can. Completing a quest gives you lots of money, expands the kingdom, which in turn creates more jobs and a bigger army. Once you have the Royal Guard, you can venture into tougher locations on the map and duke it out with one of 7 kings. While in enemy territory, you need to multitask like crazy, like fending off lots of enemies, protecting the king, collecting items, building new bridges and pathways, and kooky boss fight. The kings come in all shapes and sizes. Each fight is different from the last and will always keep the player guessing. After beating a king, you rescue, or should I say kidnap, one of 6 princesses. Now this is where the sim element comes from. Each princess will give you a quest for her heart, basically, and each one varies and they're all different. Apricot will ask you to search for these different signs, and only by finding all of them can you pick her to be your queen, which most people tend to anyway. The final element of this game is maintaining your kingdom and keeping your people happy, of course. By sitting on the throne, the little king will call Hauser, and you can upgrade the different parts of your kingdom in the kingdom plan. And it has a lot of different cool uses like upgrading houses, upgrading your army, all kinds of really great stuff. Also getting hidden characters like the Steel Knight. Pretty sick. Now players can also collect taxes by sending troops into other characters' houses. You can also keep PR in your kingdom by checking the suggestion box to see what exactly your people want. But in a nutshell, the basic point of this game is to rescue the princesses and find out what's causing those nasty earthquakes. The gameplay is actually pretty good, and people familiar with Pikmin will actually feel right at home. You move the camera around with the directional pad, and you call your troops by pressing the B button. You issue commands or have them attack by hitting the A button. This mostly results in you throwing your troops at the enemy, just like Omar throws a Pikmin. Like any real-time strategy game, the strategy is a key element for the game. Knowing what troops to use and who to have on hand could be the difference between victory and death for the king. The game, even on easy difficulty, is challenging enough, but most of the time, the game is pretty forgiving and allows players to try again, hopefully learning from your mistakes so you'll actually succeed instead of fail. The game does have a few issues though. For one, for a Wii game, there is no motion controls at all. The commanding of the troops is done with the joystick, which can make things pretty difficult controlling vast soldiers in a battle. By pressing the Z button, you bring out a pointer, but it doesn't really make things any better. The game relies on you unlocking new formations, and until you do so, your soldiers will have a very difficult time walking up bridges and falling off ledges, which, it's a small complaint, but combined with all the backtracking you have to do in this game, it gets pretty annoying really quickly. Okay, this game uses annoying gibberish speech as well. Kind of like Animalese from City Folk, although guess what? There's no way to switch it off. Ever. The game's humor in this is a mix of both child and some pretty raunchy adult themes, actually, which I found rather odd, considering who this game is marketed toward. So parents should keep that in mind when getting this game for little Mary or Billy. Just like Pikmin, you have no way of carrying any health or power-ups for the king. However, throughout the world, players can heal troops and the king by jumping into baths located somewhere in the world. You have to have your farmer to actually find one, but it works. Only by going to sleep, though, can you really mend most of the king's wounds. I also wasn't a huge fan of the pinball boss fight. In fact, it wasn't until I upgraded my soldiers until I actually had a shot at beating him. I really didn't like the TV boss fight, and the only reason I'm saying that is because my geography is terrible. So I know that the character gives you hints and stuff like that, but I had a hard time finding where Korea and the Andes Mountains were, and like all this other stuff was driving me nuts. I'm not going to show this boss fight for spoiler reasons, but I hated the giant king. Not the mountain king. That guy was pretty easy. I'm talking about the giant king in Trash Land or whatever. I hated that guy. Luckily for the little king, this game is actually pretty fun and has a lot of redeeming qualities. For one, you guys can build a cow cannon after you've explored a different part of the map, and you can shoot there much faster. So this actually cuts down on the whole backtracking, nitpicking I was doing at the beginning of the game. Also, by hitting the plus button, players will bring up a map or a menu, and then you'll see like the little 2-button icon. You press that, and the little king is warped all the way back to his castle, so this saves on time as well. One of the other things I liked about this game so much is expanding the kingdom. I really enjoyed that aspect of the game. I liked all the different quests. I liked all the different abilities to talk with the townspeople and find out what your people need and build that and, get more jobs, do more of this. I thought that was really great. Questing was another fun aspect for this game, and it got downright addicting. Whether you were fighting undead knights or digging up treasure, finding parts, all that kind of stuff, it was great. It wasn't until after the third princess that I started to really enjoy playing this game. The music is wonderful in this game, and it's well done by two composers, who I'm not even going to try to pronounce. Here's their names. The second one is of Kingdom Hearts fame. The world music is a new spin on the classical music, with outstanding arrangements, which I feel added to the experience tenfold. Now this next point comes from K-Wife. She noticed that this game has a price on human life, and that it's the goal of the player not to lose troops in battle, because for one, it'll cost you. But if you do manage to lose some troops, sometimes they wash back up on the beach, and all you have to do to get them back in your party is just talk to them. And then you don't have to worry about training any new troops, because you just use the ones that died and came back to life. Pretty cool. The game also allows boy and girl troops to get married anytime during the game. All you have to do is have the king push them into church. I like this king. He places morality above politics. All in all, this was an excellent game, but at the same time, I feel that it capitalizes a lot on different game genres to combine one mega game. If you guys like an RTS, sim games, or heck, even Harvest Moon, then I think you'll enjoy it. Me, not so much. The game has deep, rich worlds for you to explore, simple gameplay, outstanding music, RPG, sim, Harvest Moon elements, lots of side quests, over 30 hours of content, decent replay value, and it's not a pushover to say the least. Plus, the game is fun, so there you go. So Game Nights gives Little King's Story an excellent 8.7 out of 10. Keep in mind, though, that this game is more for the RPG and RTS crowd, so casual gamers may be turned off just a bit. But if you like Pikmin or Harvest Moon, then I think you'll like this game. Well, that does it for me, folks. Thanks for watching another Game Nights video review. Keep it here for more of Swag's interviews, news, and our radio program every week. Remember to keep it locked here for lots of new content coming this fall. This is Kwing saying God bless and happy gaming. Until we meet again, gamers.